they're okay with it while also using it as an insult. It's very hypocritical. But then again, Jay also called someone slow, which again is a...
Well, no, it's not an insult, because it's perfectly acceptable to be gay, okay? It's an insult because right-wing people are afraid to come out. They hide away. They're like, oh no. Oh, I can't let somebody find out about my secret. And they're like deeply in the closet, okay? So it's funny to call them gay, especially, okay? Like it's not funny to call a woke-tard gay because they don't give a fuck. Like, yeah, okay, I'm gay, right? If I'm woke-tarded, then like, yeah, I'm gay as fuck, okay? Like, who cares? You know, but if you're a conservative and somebody calls you gay, then it's like that's a real insult, you know. Oh, they're threatening my masculinity, my masculine identity. So anyway, it is funny, okay? Welcome back. This is the J-Star broadcast. We are live and alive out of sunny Florida. I am a wizard, and today we are watching Rev Says Desu. Let's go.
So in
this video is called Progressive VTuber Called Out Men. It did not end well. I'm assuming that well, I don't know. I don't know what this is about, okay, but like I wanna find out. I'm gonna throw my hat into this VTuber drama, my tall hat. I'm gonna throw it in like I usually be doing.
In this video,
okay,
I'm
let's
talking
go.
about a pretty funny situation involving a VTuber named Vex.
Pretty funny.
We have briefly talked about this individual before. They are quite unhinged. A lot of the stuff they do on social media is very aggressive and hypocritical, and we're seeing that happen yet again after they made this self-described, nuanced post about men, saying the only men who get offended when someone says all men are the men we're talking about, by the way. So we'll get into the rhetorical fallacy here and how this VTuber gets very upset when people take their logic and extend it to other intrinsic traits to make a generalized blanket statement about them. But of course, they're going to play the victim. They essentially pick a fight against an entire gender, and when their logic starts to fall apart and they start looking unhinged.
I mean, it's more like she's making a statement about men that be like pearl clutching, right? Like the only men that get mad when a woman is like, oh yeah, all men are trash or whatever, you know, some statement like that or other. The only men that get offended by that are the fucking chuds, okay? The pearl clutching, oh you're a misandrist, like the fucking conservative reactionary types, okay? That's it. Nobody else gives a fuck. Everybody else is like, eh. And that's because, it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter in the slightest. If a woman, oh no, a woman is gonna say all men are bad. Oh no. Oh, that's so terrible.
They make it a big cry fest for themselves while telling people to choke and saying everyone is racist. Now, this individual, like I said, is pretty unhinged. They have a history of saying some pretty heinous stuff.
Everyone is racist?
All-time classic from January of this year, saying F you, F ICE, F your God, F your mother for birthing you, F your father for not dunking you in a sock. Your mom should have used a coat hanger, you effing troglodyte. F off and go beat your D to your sister. Now, that last part is very strange. I don't know why this person is thinking of something like that, let alone encouraging someone to do that. Very strange. But you can see, overall, they're a pretty heinous individual when it comes to the posts they make on Twitter. Now, a few days after that, they tried to change their ways. They made this long-winded post saying they're going to do better, and they're going to stop being so hostile towards people online. Well, that didn't last very long. Within the next couple of weeks, there was...
Yeah, you'll never catch me saying that shit. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I can be pretty hostile. You know, I can, you know, it depends. It depends what the topic is, how serious I take it. You know, you can go check my comments. Generally, though, I give people what they give me. Okay, that's what I try to do. That's the rule I live by. Okay. And it's not like an eye for an eye, okay? I just want to give people what they want. Alright, I'm a content creator, okay? If you, you know, if you come into my comments for an argument, an argument is what you'll get.
Was a spurt out here where she started replying to a bunch of different people in a very short period of time, not with words, but instead with memes and pictures where she wants people to be put in their grave. She wants people to go missing. She also wants to go get a gun in response to someone criticizing her, and also said people better relax or she'll fold you while your clothes are still on, and also silence hetero, which, that sort of slop we see all the time. And of course, when they are confronted with this bloodthirsty set of rhetoric, she says they're just memes.
They hate straight people.
The intellectual dishonesty is pretty profound. I guess if you send something in a meme format, you can't be accountable for what the message is saying. Ridiculous. But their hatred knows no bounds. They hate white people, despite being one, and as I always say, being a self-hating white person is very sad. They have been completely indoctrinated by all this nonsense to the point of hating themselves for an intrinsic...
Okay, but that's just a fact, though. So what this person said in this tweet that Rev is so offended by, so triggered, is they said, you can't be racist against white people, which is just, reality. Okay, because whiteness is not it's not real. Okay, like there are no white people. Whiteness is a category that is always evolving, always changing. Who is white and who isn't, who knows? Who the fuck knows? Like, you can't be racist against a group of people that you can't nail down who the fuck they are. Right? Like, we know who black people are. Okay, that's obvious, right? But who's white and who's not, well, that is not so obvious. Alright, so anyway, let's keep going.
They had no choice over, but they also clarify that you can't be racist against white people. Now, for this person who makes self-described nuanced posts, I guess they should open up the definition of racism and point to where it says there's an exception for white people. I know, very bigoted of me to say this, but I don't think anybody should be treated poorly or differently because of the color of their skin and other intrinsic traits they have no control over. We should treat everyone
white
the
people.
same. We shouldn't make exceptions to be abusive towards people based on what skin color they have. I know, very bigoted take from me, but of course they also don't like men.
Okay, but racism isn't just being mean to someone. Okay, Rev, like, it's actually, call this like a nuanced slop or whatever, but it's actually a lot more complicated than that. Wow, no. Crazy.
Very clearly saying they don't want to go out in public anymore because they hate men, which is also ironic for someone who hates law enforcement so much. But also, they say men aren't lonely enough. They also say they want the confidence of mediocre white men. And when people have an issue with that, they say, now that's what I call male fragility, which doesn't count because it's in a meme format, so don't get mad about that. It's in a meme format. Let me make that clear. It doesn't count. But of course, they weren't done after their history of clearly having an issue with men in a very general sense. They decided to come out with this, again, self-described nuanced post saying the only men who get offended when someone says all men are the men we're talking about, by the way. Now, of course, people in the replies will extend their logic into other categories of intrinsic traits and make generalized statements based on that. And
I mean, look, I'm sorry. He said this a few seconds ago, but, like, I was thinking about it, and I don't really know. I wasn't going to say anything at first, but, like, it is kind of interesting, right? Like, what memes do you reply to? Like, when do you reply to a meme? When do you take it seriously? And the answer is, only if what they are saying is very apparent or easily describable, and also it is, of course, wrong. Okay, then you reply to it. Because then you can dunk on them. Okay, it's all about dunking on them. Because making a meme, posting a meme, in replying to someone else, that is usually supposed to be a dunk. Okay, so they're trying to dunk on you with the meme, right? You should really only reply if you can easily dunk on them in the reply. Other than that, like, a meme is unserious, right? That's how a lot of people will view it. So, the best thing is really to just ignore it.
Does not like when that happens, but this is a rhetorical fallacy that you should be aware of. It's called the Kafka trap. Okay, it's where you make a statement. You accuse someone or a group of people of something, and then if you deny that by the user's logic, you're now guilty of what they're saying. It's very, very disingenuous, and that's exactly what's happening here. And of course, if they're faced with generalized statements about other intrinsic traits, I guess they're not allowed to say anything about it, otherwise they're part of the problem by their own logic. And of course, that's exactly what happened, where one user said all blacks are violent, making a generalized stereotype statement, extending the logic of X in this previous post, and clearly not understanding what's happening here. They reply saying, get your racist behind the F on somewhere else. And she literally did the meme. She literally did the meme. This is a...
What? That's not a Kafka trap, though. You just read the definition. Rev, you just fucking read the definition. You just read it. How... I'm stupid. I'm stupid. I'm the stupid one. That's got to be it.
Consistently viral screenshot that shows up all the time, where one user said, when I say end all men, I really mean all, and someone says even George Floyd, and they go, literally, what is wrong with you? It happened again, ladies and gentlemen, but we can see a further description of their nuanced take, because one user would say, I always like the phrase, a hit dog hollers, and she says this, co-signing that logic. Now, of course, I know what people mean when they say a hit dog hollers, but think about that statement. People use it all the time. A dog hollers when it's hits, you know, like when Kaya got shocked by Hassan, it yelps. You know, like when something bad happens, like getting hit. Got him. Or dog in this case responds. What does that mean? But
dude, I knew he was gonna fucking bring Hassan. As soon as I saw the dog hollers. So fucking predictable, dude. This shit happened like almost a year ago, right? Is when Collargate happened. They're still fucking talking about it, dude. It's so crazy to me. Also, it's fake as fuck. It's not real, and I debunked it day one. Okay, that's right. So if you don't believe me, go check it out.
Responds? What does that mean? But the way they use it is that if someone says something and you deny it, clearly you're guilty of whatever they're trying to say or accuse you of. And of course, I guess hit dogs holler when you have this sort of response to something they're trying to say or accuse you of. Is that if someone says something and you deny it, clearly you're guilty of whatever they're trying to say or accuse you of. And of course...
okay, yeah, but sure. Okay, that's the Kafka trap, sure. Okay, so you do know what it is. But what... Rev,
I guess hit dogs holler
what the fuck is wrong
to
with
someone
you,
using
man?
your own
Do you
logic
have
against
brain
you.
damage?
And when this user says you got cooked, they say, no, I don't speak to racist pieces of garbage. I win by default, joke, which is a not so subtle way of telling this person to have their life ended, obviously. But of course, their logic makes no sense. I think a lot of their responses are very impulsive on social media. It's like they always want to have the final word on everything. They respond to everything. And this is what happens. You say, I don't speak to racist pieces of garbage.
I respond to everything. That's because we're reactionaries. Okay, we're reacting. You respond to lots of things, Rev. You fucking chime in when nobody fucking cares about what you think. Why can't we do it? God damn, man.
So I guess
the hypocrisy.
These users are not racist by your own logic because you
can't stand it.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, again, just impulsive posts make no sense. And of course, she'll be mad about that extension of her own logic because it's stupid. But yeah, that's precisely it. These statements are stupid, and people are just using your logic and your own words against you. And of course, if you don't want to talk to racists, maybe don't talk to yourself because you have this hatred of white people. You can't be racist against them, of course, expected with virtue signalers like this. But of course, you can see another person trying desperately to clarify what's happening and why people are making fun of her and why she's a hypocrite. This user says, he just used your own logic against you. And by your own logic, the fact that you got triggered means you're the problem he's talking about. The fact that this went over your head is the real problem here.
Well, no, wait, actually, hold on a second, Rev. Because actually, let's start over. Okay, Vex, the VTuber in question, the one that hates Whitey, okay, and men, and white men especially. Okay, you see, this person said, the only men that get mad when you say all men are the men that we're talking about. Okay, well then clearly, what that statement implies is that they're not talking about all men actually in the first place. Okay, it's more like a more meta statement than that, like almost like using the term all men is like a litmus test. Okay, whatever. Anyway, the reply was all blacks are violent. Okay, that's what somebody replied to that with. And then Vex, the VTuber, she said that's racist, basically. She was like, yeah, that's a racist thing to say, which, doy. Okay, like, I wouldn't respond like that, me personally, when somebody says shit like that in my comments. I get more specific with it, right? Because when somebody makes a claim that blacks are violent, right? When somebody says some racist shit like that, I'm like, okay, how? What is your evidence? The answer is there is none. There is no valid evidence. Okay, so, but why stop there? Okay, because come on, they're gonna respond with like arrest rates or some shit, right? And you can explain, right? Oh well, you're like conflating arrest rates with crime rates. Not the same thing. Okay, there is no evidence that black people like commit more violent crimes. Okay, they don't care, right? Right, come on. You're wasting your time, J-Star, arguing with these racist people. Okay, maybe. But there's a funnier thing that you can say, okay, which is that white people are more violent. Which there's actually some data to back up that statement. Okay, now do I think that white people are like genetically predisposed to be violent savages? The answer is fuck no. Okay, white people aren't genetically predisposed to do that. That's insane. Okay, but that's basically what these people say about black people, right? Without actually saying it, but they say it with zero evidence. Okay, I actually have some evidence when I say white people are more violent, which is white people commit mass shootings at way higher rates than other races. Okay, they do. It's crazy. They're like, and again, I don't think white people are genetically predisposed to do mass shootings. But they do commit more mass shootings on average per capita. Per capita, bro. All right, anyway, let's keep going.
Just say you're part of the problem, bro. You're the men we're talking about. So we're extending it. Guys, we're actually going beyond the Kafka trap. Okay, it's not just people disagreeing with the generalized statement or being caught up as part of the problem. It's even people questioning the foundational logic and how it's being applied in ways the original poster didn't want it to.
Okay, well that would be the same thing. Right? That would be that's you're describing the same thing. Like, yeah, it's still the Kafka trap. Wow. Dadoy.
Which was a natural extension of their logic.
Dude,
even
this guy is so fucking stupid. Oh my god.
As part of the problem. It's insane. But we're not done. Another user trying to clarify, saying, so it's okay to stereotype. Got it. And then she says it's a generalization.
So much for the tolerant left.
Based on statistics.
So much for the tolerant left.
Cry. Come on. You don't see how this could be extended to other groups of people with intrinsic traits they didn't choose, right? Just making.
Okay, well, you guys fucking do that anyway. All right, like, yeah, we can be racist against white people. You want to know why? Because you guys are racist against black people, and us being racist against white people isn't gonna fucking change that fact in the slightest. All you're gonna do is bitch and complain about, oh, so much for the tolerant left. Why do we have to be tolerant? Why do we have to be like, oh yeah, let's all hold hands and sing Kumbaya, and you guys get to be like, oh yeah, black people are evil, savage criminals that want to kill whitey. Like, it makes no fucking sense, man. You want us to like roll over and be like, oh yeah, you can be mega racist, bro. You can advocate for like the chattel system to come back. Yeah,
generalizations based on statistics, and if you have a problem with that, you're part of the problem. Do you not see that's how all of this began in the first place? Like, there is no self-awareness. The lights are on, but nobody's home. Terrible stuff. But then you can see people just pointing out, it's annoying when you generalize. I know you're not talking about me, but it's an obnoxious thing to say. And even someone saying, I get you, but it's just annoying to generalize. It's not good enough. So then she says, then hold the men we are talking about accountable. If it doesn't apply to you, you shouldn't be offended by a blanket statement about someone's gender. Well, yes, you should never be offended about a blanket statement regarding someone's gender. Again, keep that in mind, but someone tries to explain again. If it's okay to generalize men based on statistics, I have to assume you think the same of black people, which is really telling about your character. And she has no response other than saying, LOL, no.
Okay, no. See, that's where you're wrong, though. Because men are statistically more violent. Okay, they are. Okay, this is backed up by science, medical science, conviction rates. Like, there is so much evidence to say men commit more violent crimes than women. Okay, duh. Wow. No. The same thing does not exist for black people, Rev. Did you know that? Did you know? Wow. Oh, man. Why do people get mad at me when I say black people are savages?
They're both
savage animal criminal people.
And then her response is, bad people are bad people. Pointing out the color of their skin is a you problem. F off and go be racist somewhere else. So she is missing the point entirely, and the user clarifies saying, who said anything about my opinions or thoughts? I sure did.
Okay, this VTuber, I gotta say, like, this person is just, I'm sorry, bro, but, like, you're not very good at this, okay? I get that you're just yapping on Twitter. Maybe it doesn't seem like that big a deal, but this is just, it's just a bad look, okay? I wanted to say this at the beginning, but I can't stand the pearl clutching, right, that Rev is doing here. I fucking hate it. Don't be mean to my special snowflake, my men. Oh, my special snowflake men out there. Oh. It's so fucking annoying, dog. And it's way more annoying than what this person is doing. Okay, but that being said, while I wouldn't call this person technically incorrect so far, it's just, like, this isn't really how you do... I mean, well, I guess she is, or they are getting attention, right? That's kind of cool. But, from my perspective, not all attention is equal. And I want people to see me in a certain way, right? That's why I do content creation, is so that, you know, I present myself the way I want to be seen by others. And that is, I want to be, like, maybe not calm and collected, but, like, calculated. You know? Because I am. You know, I get pretty emotional. I can be, angry at times. I've yelled on camera. Okay, I have. And I probably will again. But, you know, I always think very carefully about how I word things, and I choose my words wisely before I use them most of the time. And, this just feels, like, careless, and, this person is, like, thrashing, you know, and, like, lashing out at people, random fucking people on Twitter. And, I get it. Like, I get the anger, you know, but, like, the internet isn't, content creation isn't a place for, directionless anger. You know, and it's not that there is zero direction to this person's anger. They are clearly targeting some people in particular. Okay, that being fucking chuds. Okay, but, like, it just, it doesn't really feel that way. Like, I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's not because, like, they were like, oh, all men or whatever, you know, it's not that. Or, like, white people. Okay, no. It's like that person just a second ago was like, hey, you know, I agree with you, but, like, the way you're going about this is kind of obnoxious. Like, a comment like that, right, a tweet like that, I would either ignore or I would address it. I would be like, you know, look, I know I'm kind of angry, but, like, this is why. You know, like you can call me obnoxious, right? Don't read my shit then. Don't follow. That's what I tell people if they're, like, on my side or whatever, and they're like, yeah, like, I agree with you, but, like, I don't really like you, though. Well, like, okay, then fuck off. Eat shit and die.
All I
How
did
about
was
that?
change the category from men to black, from sex to race. That is all I did. And you still can't comprehend why I did that. It's actually hilarious. Like, you can spell it out. I don't know if she's just that disingenuous. She is intentionally ignoring what people are trying to do here, or she's just that clueless. She doesn't see it. Either way, it's really embarrassing. And of course, people are now extending it to women, making statements like this, calling all women promiscuous. And then she says, that's not a nuanced statement, so no. You just hate women at that point. And this user, with the steel chair response, says, you are one of them. Yeah, you're part of the problem, I guess. Hit dogs, holler, you know what I mean? Like, this is a
got him. My only response to this is, all women are whores, sure. All men are whores. Everybody's a whore. Right? Everybody is. Like, I straight up. Like, if we're gonna call all women whores, right? Which is kind of funny. Right? And not, like, in an ironic misogyny kind of way, but just, like, in the absurdity of it. Then, like, okay, well, then everybody's a fucking whore. Everybody is.
An extension of her own logic, and she's triggered by it. Basically becoming a part of the problem by her own design. It's crazy. And then we see some, what is this, dark woke? Is this the dark woke people talk about, where they can, like, make insults that are normally offensive, but they're doing it wokely? One person says all women are valueless.
Yes, but that's shit woke, okay? That's shit dark woke, okay? I like dark woke. I be liking dark woke, but dark woke, too many people seem to think that dark woke is like when you get to be racist, but you do it ironically. Or maybe not even that. Maybe, like, you get to be racist, but you do it in like a progressive messaging kind of way. Like, you're trying to send a progressive message, but you, like, say racist shit to accomplish it. Okay? And it's like, there is some utility in using racist language, okay? Like, me personally, I say brown people all the time when I talk about how, you know, there's an infinite bloodlust for innocent people overseas in the third world. right? I say brown people, okay? I do that. I'd be like, yeah, fucking, Lindsey Graham wanted to murder innocent brown people, okay? Of course. Of course, but I recognize that the term brown people is kind of racist. I mean, it is. It's not people first language. It's not like the woke thing to do, right? So is it dark woke to use the phrase brown people? I think so. I think so a little bit. But it's not like an egregious form of racism, okay? You're never gonna fucking convince me that it is, and if you could, then I'd stop saying it. But I know it's not. You know, I'm just like describing things accurately, but using simple word. Why use complicated word when simple word do trick? That's what I say.
And she says, I mean, if you feel that way, I'm assuming you're gay, which is perfectly acceptable. So basically, this is their woke way of calling this user a homo, but then saying, oh, whoa, it's perfectly okay. Like, we understand what they're doing here, right? They're trying to make this insult, but wokely.
Okay, well, when you say that all women are valueless sluts, you can say that you're, like, taking this person's logic and you're, like, using it against them, okay? Not really, okay, because that's not really what she said, but that's a whole different story. But if you take this tweet at face value, which is what you're supposed to do when you're in a fucking Twitter battle with dipshits, especially on the right. Okay, so when somebody says, all women are valueless, okay, you know, let alone the slut part, that's gay. You know, is that really crazy? Are you sure? To say that women are valueless, I don't think I need to elaborate.
While also making sure that everyone knows they're okay with it while also using it as an insult. It's very hypocritical, but then again, she also calls someone slow, which again is a...
Well, no, it's not an insult, because it's perfectly acceptable to be gay, okay? It's an insult because right-wing people are afraid to come out. They hide away. They're like, oh no. Oh, I can't let somebody find out about my secret. And they're like deeply in the closet, okay? So it's funny to call them gay, especially. Okay, like it's not funny to call a woke-tard gay because they don't give a fuck. Like, yeah, okay, I'm gay, right? If I'm woke-tarded, then like, yeah, I'm gay as fuck, okay? Like, who cares? You know, but if you're a conservative and somebody calls you gay, then it's like that's a real insult, you know? Oh, they're threatening my masculinity, my masculine identity. So anyway, it is funny.
Way of trying to call someone retarded, I guess. But then, of course, she's not done. She starts quoting herself and then quoting her quotes to really make sure everyone knows her nuanced take, saying, free block list in the replies here, saying that I hate men is not the same as being blatantly racist. Choke. So once again, telling people to choke, to presumably lose their life.
Evil.
Over arguments online.
How dare you? How dare you?
And then they clarify in another post saying, I hate men. Then people ask, why are you dating one? And she says, I'm not talking about my man. I said I hate men, not my man. Oh, he's one of the good ones, I guess. Did she not understand how this is applied to other groups of people based on their intrinsic characteristics they did not choose at birth? Like, it's insane. And again, she's talked about men before, and she's dating a white guy, and let's hope he grants her the confidence of mediocre white men. That's all I can say. But she does the classic thing. Okay, how many times have we seen this, right? You have someone who basically picks a fight with an entire gender, and when they start finding out, they start making themselves the victim, they start intentionally misrepresenting the situation, and then post a selfie for engagement and to get validation from strangers online. So they do exactly that, in quotes saying, if you're mad about me saying all blacks are violent, you must be black and violent, end quotes, not understanding that this entire situation is just an application of her own logic and she doesn't like the results. And then of course she adds on saying, no, I'm not a racist piece of filth. It's that simple. Of course, given her own history of being racist towards white people, very hypocritical. But then people use the shoe on head meme from one of her recent videos, and she has an issue with that because she believes she is not doing the act of prostitution and tells people to shut their dumb behind mouth. And of course, we know that a big part of her content is doing adult content, right? Like that's her primary form of income. That's her main thing.
Dude, why are they still using fucking shoe on head? Why? Why do right-wingers do this? Why do they use the most lame shit for as long as possible? They just like shoe on head hasn't been like interesting or cool in like 10 years. I don't get it.
And it seems to be a very sensitive topic for her.
She's not even like first of all, she isn't that funny, okay? She's not entertaining. That's just my opinion, right? That's just my subjective opinion. Am I right? But also she's just boring. I mean Maybe you think her anti-SJW, her culture war jokes are funny or whatever, like that one. But she's boring in that she's not, she's just a liberal. Okay, that's all she is. She's a right-leaning liberal. It's annoying. Right? It's dated. Okay, liberals are done. Bye-bye. Bye-bye liberalism. Fucking took it out back and shot it in the head. Okay, that's what happened to liberalism. Liberals are so fucking done, dude. Like, I don't even know where to begin, right? When talking about this. Like if you're a liberal in the big 226, dog, what in the goddamn are you doing in the motherfucking goddamned United States of this bitch America? What are you doing? You need to either become an extreme racist, okay, or join the Democratic Socialist of America, okay? Those are your two options. Sorry, I don't make the rules, okay? Or you can keep being a fucking fence-sitting, dumbass, chuddy liberal, okay? Those are your two choices.
And,
or three.
Honestly,
three choices.
Right? Just promoting it, trying to sell it, and getting 24 likes. Brutal. But of course, they have a history of mocking people for being broke or unable to afford her adult content, which is very ironic, and I'll show why in a second. But here's a post from only a year ago saying, "The men screaming and crying in my replies about how much my content costs. How does it make you feel knowing you can't afford to even look at me?" Oh, what a narcissist. That's actually insane. You didn't make $900 a week at your job, let alone in a day. Is she trying to flex $900 a week? Which is not only cringe and what? But also, for someone, if you're familiar with her account, it is a constant series of tweets almost daily asking for money, asking for crowdsourcing, asking for emergency streams, emergency funds. And she says that's based on a lot of her health needs. And if that's even true, okay, fine. You can absolutely ask for money, but then don't go around flexing how much money you have and then poor shaming people who, by the way, are your customers and a lot of the problem men that you're mocking in your tweets. The irony is palpable, biting the hand that feeds, but she's not done with this entire topic. Another post. If you need 15 tweets to explain your nuanced post, maybe it's not
why do content creators farm outrage? I don't know.
I got time for this. Blah, 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 blah. All you had to say was harmful people bad, but instead you said all men, and got triggered when people applied your own logic to other categories you didn't want to see happen, right? That's all there is to it, but you know what? Hit dogs holler, as they say. But of course, you can see, they don't like people farming drama. Now, of course, they're allowed to farm drama on Twitter and get into controversy every 2 seconds. But of course, they talk about VTubers and content creators who do drama slop reactionary content, and they're mad because they spread misinformation and slander. And you know what? If you have an issue with my video, please take it up with yourself, because this entire video was just showcasing your own tweets. That's all this entire video was. If you're mad about this coverage, look in the mirror, because all I'm doing is showing your own public tweets. They look bad enough on their own, but they look even worse when you compare them to other posts that make you hypocritical. That's like the entire situation. So if you have a problem with my video, you should probably look in the mirror, because this is all about you. But anyways, that's gonna do this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please consider giving the video a like.
Yeah, man, that was something.